Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast.
Where Are We edition. We are not, as you may notice, in our usual set, but we do have a usual suspect joining us today. Friend of the pod, our son, I would say. In some ways.
News to me, but...
In some ways.
Our slightly younger than you guys, sure.
Slightly younger. Yeah. We care for you.
Like sons are.
Andrew Michaan from Podcast But Outside.
Hello. Nice to have you guys on your show with me.
Yeah, that is nice.
Thank you for having me.
Andrew, you are a good son.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are great parents. You've had me on your podcast. I've had you on mine. I feel like that's what all familiar relationships are about these days. Right. It feels nice. So this is the first time you've been in this space, huh? Tell me about it. I'm interviewing you guys now.
Wow, you're hosting from the back, huh?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of cuck energy.
It's actually hard for us to really bring it today because we are very sad about the fires in Los Angeles, and we have friends staying with us who lost their homes. And it's been really sad being so close to grief. Do you find that?
It's been an intense week. It's been, I feel like anyone who lives in Los Angeles is really feeling a lot of intense emotions right now, whether you're affected personally or whether you know someone. Everyone is affected in some ways in our city. And LA is such an important city for the country that I feel like everyone knows something about this fire, and it feels very resonant.
And just know that there are things that you don't understand too about the fires, like in the sense of like people are like, yeah, Billy Crystal can get a new house. The Pacific Palisades are a very wealthy area.
Some of them are, but I've got a friend in the Palisades who was living in a mobile home, and his mobile home was set on fire. He doesn't have a home. It's not all rich people. That's what fucking drives me crazy. Is like people are like, oh, fuck these rich people that lost their homes. It's like there's another neighborhood on fire.
Altadena.
Read to the end of the article. There's more to the article. Even if you're letting your ideology fry your empathy to a crisp, even if you're willing to say, fuck all those people in the Palisades, they deserve to lose their home, just don't let your ideology allow you to not finish the article where it says also on fire was historically working class, one of the first black homeowner communities in Los Angeles, Altadena. Those are not wealthy people.
Altadena is a very beautiful place. It was a very beautiful place. I think the city is gone now, but it was a place that you could like kind of...
It's still there. It's still there.
Artists, it was a lot of artists and a lot of people who wanted to live a more homesteading life, but they kind of had city souls. You're still like very close to the city, but you're like having this bigger space. And all of the houses there were very old, 100-year-old houses, mature trees. Like people would just have horses. There was tons of nature. Tons of mature trees. I mean, everything is gone.
You're mostly upset about the mature trees.
I'm upset that the whole city's... There was like all these like old public spaces, like beautiful old parks.
Our child used
that were 200 years old, like just like gorgeous brick,
And it hits close to home because Altadena is where our kid would go to like her spring break camps at the Altadena Waldorf school there, which is gone. And Palisades is where Andrew and I have surfed 10,000 times.
I surf there multiple days a week. There's a spot right down the street from which everything is on fire, and it's just...
These are spots that we know and people that we know. The family that's been staying with us this week are Altadena, and the family that's staying with us now is also an Altadena family, both of whom lost their homes. These are not wealthy people. These are families.
Kids are waking up in the middle of the night remembering a toy that got burnt.
Right.
Like because it hasn't really landed on them yet. I mean, this is trauma.
It's trauma
being put on. You see trauma. From a child. As a comedian, I'm sure all of us have had trauma as children. So I guess it's not the end of the world.
So maybe a bunch of comedians got created this week. That's kind of nice. It's kind of a nice little silver lining.
I'll tell you who's having a difficult time processing the trauma.
Who?
Our child.
Your child.
Oh my God.
Because we've been having this family stay with us, and I mean they literally...
And they have kids her age.
Right.
And they've been friends for years, and they literally lost everything. And they came to our home, and a friend of ours who was also staying with us took them to Costco to buy them a hot dog and a hot fudge sundae.
Okay.
And then our kid came home from school to her house.
She didn't go to Costco?
She didn't make it to Costco.
It was a Tuesday.
Is that because her school didn't burn down?
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
And I was putting her to bed the other night, and she's like, I need to tell you something, but I know that you're going to say that I shouldn't say this, and I know that you're going to say it's because I still have a home. But I'm really upset and really jealous that Clover and Henry got to go to Costco and get a hot fudge sundae.
And a hot dog.
And a hot dog. Well, she was really honest. To be fair to her, she was very focused on the sundae.
Oh, the sundae was
the hot dog wasn't really the thing that upset.
What was really funny is that they thought the sundae was gross.
The sundae was bad.
And they thought the hot dog was bad. And here's the best part. They wanted to go back the next day.
Right.
They just wanted more. They
liked the consumerism when they walked in. It was like TVs.
Just being around the TVs.
Stereos. It was just like big things pumping through. Like you have to get a bunch of everything.
Right.
Like, they were into it.
They didn't like the hot dog. They didn't like the sundae, but they did like the Kirkland 52-inch flat screen TVs.
Oh, those are great. Kirkland TVs are the best.
Some of the best TVs.
So then they told our kid about it. So then they were all three begging to go back to Costco. So how did you handle it, Moshe?
Well, I'm putting her to bed, and she says this, and if you said that, Andrew, I'd be like, you fucking monster. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But I'm like, okay, this is a creature whose empathy nodule, much like the 42-year-olds in Ohio that are commenting on every Instagram post. Burn, California, you got what you deserve, Gavin, new scum. But she's 6.
Yeah.
So I said to her, I'm trying to contextualize it. I said to her, I go, okay, well, maybe this is a really good opportunity for you. I said, it's natural to be jealous when people get things that you want, but maybe this is a good opportunity for you to not put your desires and needs first, and to remember that Clover and Henry have gone through a really, really difficult, terrible thing, and maybe you can really focus on that. That didn't work. That was rejected.
She's like, but it had cherries on top and chocolate fudge.
But I like hot fudge. So that didn't work.
Okay.
And then I tried another couple angles, and then finally I said to her,
because these are those moments as a parent where you're like,
totally,
is this the thing that will make her
unlock some aspect?
I don't know.
Well, that's like a big part of childhood development, is being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, like seeing the world through someone else's eyes.
It's so hard because for the first few years of your life, you're this absolute creature of id. I think it's id, or maybe it's ego, maybe it's super ego, whichever one is about me.
Your daughter, it's super ego.
Yeah,
I don't know the difference. I'm kidding.
Well, so you're also going as a parent, because I'm not one of these professional parents where I know everything. Is this totally normal developmental behavior, or are you a fucking monster? So I finally, I tried a few angles, and I said to her, well, have you ever thought about the fact that maybe Clover and Henry, maybe they're jealous of you because you have all your stuffies and you have all your toys and you still have your home? And she looked up at me, and I saw this thing shift in her eyes, and she said, did they get hot fudge or strawberry? No. She said, she goes, to be honest, I haven't thought of that.
Wow.
And I said, well, why don't you take, the next, now try to think about it like that and see what comes. And then yesterday we picked her up at school. I said, did you have a chance to think about what we talked about in bed last night? And she said, I did. And I said, did you come to any conclusions? And she said, what's a conclusion? And I said, have you had any realizations?
Have you heard the scientific method? And you kind of went really deep.
And I go, have you had any realizations, or what do you think now? And she said, no, I'm still thinking about it. So maybe. But
did she didn't ask for Costco or anything, right?
That's true.
So I don't know. Maybe she's thinking,
there you go.
I don't know. So she's in school all day and they're at your house displaced. And so she's feeling a little bit like FOMO of that, whatever they're doing or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But anyway, the LA is on fire, and it is like so tragic and so heartbreaking, and it made me feel in a deep way like this is my home in a way that I haven't. I mean, I knew that. And
Moshe's had major disaster FOMO.
Well, not FOMO. Like, I'm feeling useless. Like,
right,
I mean, it is nice to be able to host a family, but I'm like, how do you help?
Right.
And obviously giving money, if you're out there listening, giving money directly, and in particular direct aid, really helps. And if you go into the episode description of this episode, wherever you're getting your podcast or on YouTube, we have a link both to our friends Liz and Tim and Buck and Sue who have lost their homes, and you can give directly to our friends, and we'd love you to do that. But also, there's a link to just a roundup of all the GoFundMes that have been kind of collated from all random families that we don't know, and you can literally pick one at random and help people that have lost everything.
That's really helpful. I have a GoFundMe story to share.
Okay.
So I have a lot of friends who've lost everything in the fires, and I donated to a few GoFundMes. One of my friends, she posted a GoFundMe. Her friend started it for her. She lives in Pacific Palisades in an apartment, and her apartment complex burned down. Everything she owns destroyed. She's obviously devastated. So she had to go
funny so far.
Pretty funny, yeah. It gets even funnier. She's dead. No, she's alive. Anyway, all her stuff is destroyed. A friend starts a GoFundMe. I donated $100 to it. I donated, to a bunch of different friends' GoFundMes. That was the amount I chose for this one. This isn't a close friend. This is someone I haven't seen in person in maybe 10 years, but we're friends online, whatever. Then a few days later, I get an email from the GoFundMe thing that's like, I didn't get an email first. First, I see on social media, she posted something that was like, hey, great news. My apartment might not have burned down. I might be okay. And I'm thinking like, okay, interesting. I donated the GoFundMe, but okay, let's see where this is going. Then she posted another thing that was like, if I find out my apartment is okay, I'll refund all the GoFundMe money, send it somewhere else to someone who needs it more. And I'm like, okay. And the next day, I for sure got an email from GoFundMe that's like, hey, this GoFundMe is no longer active. Here's a refund of the money. And I was refunded my $100. And then it happened, I'm thinking like, man, I wish I had donated like $10,000. Like if I just like made myself look like really, really good, because it was coming back to me anyway. Like there's no skin off. Like there's been a lot of what I've noticed in this thing is like I've offered like people to because we had to leave town because there was no power at our place and the fires were getting close. But then the power came back on. We're still out of town, and I offered to a number of friends like, hey, if you need a place to stay, like my house is empty, go there. I offered it to like 5 people. They all said no. And each time they said no, I'm like, wow, like I get all the credit of offering help, but then I don't even have to do anything.
You don't think maybe your house sucks?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
They're like, oh my God, that would be so helpful. Can you send a few pics? They're like, you know what? Our needs are met.
We're good.
But we are going to Costco to get a hot fudge sundae.
But no, it's good to be able to offer help, but then not actually have to help. It's
I have
really
I have a GoFundMe story from this week too.
Yeah.
My friends Buck and Sue, who are dear friends that I worked with at Burning Man.
Yeah.
And they had a GoFundMe, and I gave, and then as soon as I pressed give, the list of people that gave popped up, and it was in my business's like name, my production company, which is. And it's not even the full name, it's just the initials, just DSN.
Okay.
And I panicked.
That ain't you.
I'm like, oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm DSN. I'm DSN. And I'm like, they're not going to know. I need them to know. And so I was going into the settings of GoFundMe, like, is it possible to change it to my specific name so they will, and it just, so.
You're going to text them like, hey guys, just letting you know.
Just so you know, I am DSN.
I think what you need to do in that case is change your Instagram name to DSN. So, so by process over
how about
time.
Just change my name
Change
to
your name to
DSN.
DSN. I think that's the thing to lead with.
That would be really awesome.
You think that would be the move?
DJ DSN.
I love it.
That's pretty good.
I love it.
But hey, whether or not you get the credit, whether or not you donate $10,000, donate to these GoFundMes. It directly helps people, and I think it's an easy way to make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, direct aid is probably the best way, but I'm looking for a volunteer job. That's what I'm going to do next week.
Oh, really?
I'm going to try to put my Viba boots on the ground.
What do you think would be your role? What would you want to do?
There's so much need.
Really?
I mean, it's whatever. Driving supplies from one place to the other, providing meals for people. Like there is a. Actually, I'll put that link in here too. There's a WhatsApp
cool.
group that's just volunteer opportunities, and like I don't know, money is probably the most acutely needed thing, but
it's also the dopest thing around.
Money's
just
dope,
straight up,
and
that shit is awesome.
I got a billionaire mindset.
Yeah,
and that's why I lived in the Palisades.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's great.
But for me, I feel a little listless unless my body is actually doing something. So that's my proclamation. I'm going to find a way to actually physically do some work.
Right.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
No.
Well, the thing about the Eaton fire and that whole area is that a lot of these people, your friends, my friends, they had all felt like they had won the lottery.
Right.
People were living a little bit above what they would think they could live because the houses were old, but like you could restore them so beautifully. And the lots were large because it's from the olden days. And just Altadena was full of like people who were kind of living this farmland dream close to the city. And everyone works, but it's like there isn't that. There's a loss of that entire lifestyle.
Right.
Like it's just gone, and people might not even stay in LA.
Right, you're 1,000% right that community was filled with people for whom that community in particular was filled with people for whom their home was the culmination of their life's work. And
yes.
I hate to say the words American dream, but like their American dream had come true. And now,
like in a real way, not like, we can always go to the mall if we want to.
Right.
Like we're in America, but it's like more like these people are better than those people.
And the community.
Those people are the mature trees of people.
Right. And the community that they formed seemed quite impactful too. I mean, I learned through all this, like, damn, I have a lot of friends who lived in Altadena. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm so jealous of them. I mean, I guess obviously not now, but like they always have such a community, like, because everyone would just hang out with each other in this whole area. And my friend was really sad just about the loss of the city. The city is gone.
Well, there's these multiple tiers of loss that's happening, right? And one of them is that the stability of Los Angeles generally seems to be cracked. I mean, we all knew that California in general, it suffers.
Earthquakes is the main thing, right?
I would say fires is more acute than earthquakes. Earthquakes come once every decade. I mean, I've lived through 2 major earthquakes in my life, but fires are every year. And we knew that fires were, Paradise was lost in John Milton's work that I gave notes on. But no, Paradise, California, Northern California, Mendocino, Humboldt, all those places. But we did kind of think, in a foolish way, even though we knew every year there would be fires in and around Los Angeles, that the real wildfire tragedies were a forest, Northern California abstraction in some weird way. And this has come down like really to the kind of atomic level, the home level. But the city is, the feeling of stability in the city is cracked. And then there are people's individual lives that have been destroyed. And then there are communities that have burned up. And that, so many people that I've talked to in Altadena in particular are saying the biggest loss, maybe even bigger than the loss of our home, is the loss of this feeling of this whole community. How do we rebuild? I can rebuild a house, but how do I rebuild this spirit of a village that we were
or even like
in.
all the memories of all the places you've been or your kids have been or the school, all of it is all just completely gone.
COVID, Trump, fires. It's just going to be death by so many
What's next?
cuts.
What's next is the rest of this episode.
No.
That's going to be brutal.
No, I think the rest of this episode will change it. Listen, I also feel frustrated and angry I'm a native Californian. Are
Me
you?
too. Yeah, born.
You're not.
No, but you weren't born here though.
I'm
wasn't.
a native Illinois.
Oh, you weren't born here.
You don't think it counts? I moved here when I was 9 months old.
Doesn't count. You weren't born here, man. It's in our blood. It's in the
You
air.
grew up in Colorado. You left.
But I was here. I was here for those first 9 months.
Anyway, I'm a gentrifier. I started gentrifying California
You were 9 months
in
old.
1980 and at 9 months old. And I love it here so much. And I love LA so much and the Bay so much. And I don't understand, but I'm aware that California has become this kind of like libtard boogeyman in the mind's eye of red state, sort of like anti-California.
You only think that because you're online, though.
Well, online is huge. Online is very big.
Have you heard
these
of
days.
the online? It's huge.
It's really big.
Some people say it's bigger than the real world.
All I'm saying is seeing all these. Obviously, the bigger story here is that LA is strong. The communities are strong. People are like pitching in, and we will bounce back. But if you are not, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but maybe I could clip this.
No, I've been posting some stuff. I have like a fake account I use. It's like a 47-year-old Ohio fisherman, and I post a lot of crazy stuff.
I remember one time I truly tweeted, I X'd.
Yeah.
I love California and I want to live here for the rest of my life.
Uh-oh.
And it was a bit of a troll, but it shouldn't be a troll.
Yeah, it's pretty normal.
My home.
Yeah.
I had hundreds of people like, you had never been anywhere. And then I click on their profile and they're like, I've been to your place and I don't want to live there.
They're like, I'll make sure the rest of your life only lasts 2 days, you loser.
Yeah, they just hated it.
Yeah.
It's become, California is this like this Morador, this red state Morador.
It's so interesting because it's so clearly the economic and cultural epicenter of our country. Like every export culturally that we create is from Hollywood, and then the most money is made. It's just like,
listen, I'm not saying California is better, but it is my home.
Yeah,
and
we also invented farm to table cooking, and we also invented the spiritual movement.
No, I mean California rules, but I'm not trying to say California is the best state, even though it's the only one I would ever want to live in. What I am saying is it's my home, and I love it. And if you have become so inundated by your news feed that it allows you to celebrate in even a minor way the destruction and devastation of a community because of where the community is geographically, you are diseased. Something has happened to your heart that has there is a callus, there is a red hat callus that has grown over your heart. Even if
it happens, though.
It happens.
When I saw that frozen chandelier in Austin, I thought that was pretty funny.
Natasha.
What? You can cut it out. I'm just saying.
Keep it in. I have never. No,
it was just like right when everyone moved to Austin, then there was a snowstorm and there was like freezing like icicles coming off a chandelier. You didn't laugh at that?
No, Natasha.
Yes, you did. I was there.
Oh, you were there. You remember the time I laughed at the chandelier, honey? Mark this in your memory. Ha 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 ha. No, if you have allowed the misery, the real, actual material misery of another people to not affect you or to make you happy because of where they live geographically and who they voted for, something is wrong with you. And we must be better than that. I have never done a cartwheel when a tornado hit a state that voted for the wrong governor.
What about an icicle falling off a chandelier?
That is funny. I will admit that an icicle falling off of a chandelier is funny.
To me,
because it was indoors.
Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't see this. You got to show me this later.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God, it was probably fake.
I didn't see
it. It was probably fake. It was when Austin had a snowstorm.
I remember.
Austin, what? I'm supposed. What are Austin our ideological enemies? I mean, I don't know this part. The point of it all is,
I'm just saying you're on your what's
my soapbox.
Your soapbox.
My psychedelic soapbox.
She's on the
I'm here to keep it real.
I just love California. I just love this place.
I love it too. Who wouldn't love it? I mean,
so many people.
They've never been here. Then it's obviously superior to almost every state. Sorry,
Listen,
I've been to every state. I've been to every state.
Have you? That's cool.
I'll say this.
I've been a touring comedian for 25 years.
I don't want to stay on my soapbox, but one last thing. Gavin Newsom is a literal saint. He has literally never made a mistake. He is without sin. He is an unblemished creature of holiness. Yeah. And there has not been another like him since the Christ child. Right. And that is true.
Okay, listen. I just want to say I love Austin. I love Texas.
I love chandeliers. I love mature trees.
And yes, obviously we shouldn't. I would take it one step further and say we shouldn't. Not just we shouldn't hate, but like just get offline.
Get offline. I hear you.
Like it gets everyone really activated and is really spreading information fast and
misinformation.
Wrong. That's
fast
what I mean.
Wrong, yeah.
It's
like a fire.
I wish the fires would burn the whole internet. That's kind of my hot take.
We have it. We contain it here in California.
I know. I wish it had just kind of gone that direction towards all the surface.
You're right, Natasha. Oh, by the way, I do know what I'm going to. I said I want to put boots on the ground, and I never finished that thought, which is I know what I'm going to do. I have decided what I'm going to do to fight. I have to volunteer. Okay. Me and some friends, we are going to go arsonist hunting.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we're going to
have a sword?
Direct action, sword-based arsonist hunting.
Cool.
There's nobody more suited to fight theoretical arsonists than stand-up comedians.
That's
that
great.
I can say.
Yeah.
That I can say for sure. So if there's anybody in the comedy community that would like to help me in this endeavor,
I think they all will.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is great.
We're all on board
here.
All right. Well, listen. We have people waiting to talk to us, chomping at the bit. They are just desperate.
Let's fix things.
For our wisdom, our pearls.
This next lady is fucking desperate. Tosh?
Yeah, Moshe?
I'm not a big fan of the term gut health, but it is real. Gut health impacts your butt.
Well, gut health impacts a lot of things. It can impact the way your breath smells.
The way your farts smell.
It can affect the way your pussy smells.
The way your poo-poo smells.
It can affect your mood.
It can make you all bloated. That's why we're recommending Seed with DS-01. If you are ready to get serious about not saying gut health, but about treating your gut health, DS-01 from Seed is formulated with 24 clinically and scientifically studied strains of probiotic to support whole body benefits, including that gut health and your skin health, your heart health, immune health, your gut barrier integrity, your gut microbial balance, and micronutrient synthesis in just 2 capsules a day.
Take your probiotics. Join the club.
DS-01 is formulated with strains clinically validated to reduce abdominal bloating and intermittent constipation after 2 weeks. Listen, if you don't take DS-01 from Seed, you're saying, I want abdominal bloating and I want intermittent constipation. If you don't want those things, try Seed. Try DS-01.
It's really easy to fit Seed into your daily routine, and you can get ahead of the new year with a routine that helps you now by going to seed.com/honeymoon and use promo code 25honeymoon to get 25% off your first month.
By the way, it includes strains shown to support clearer, healthier looking skin in as little as 12 weeks. In 12 weeks, you can have clearer skin. In 2 weeks, you can stop not going poo-poo. I mean, this is a no-brainer. Once again, 25% off your first month of Seed's DS-01 Daily Symbiotic at seed.com/honeymoon with the code 25honeymoon.
That's seed.com/honeymoon, code 25honeymoon.
Okay, folks, we did what I think we can all agree was a delightful episode, but we did look at the footage and we had some audio issues with the call. But it was so funny and so interesting that we wanted to salvage it. So it's going to sound a little bit weird and a little tinny. It's not perfect, but we didn't want to lose it. So understand that. And here's the call.
Okay, we are going to call Jen in Los Feliz.
Hi, guys. I'm obsessed with you all. Hi.
How's your AQI?
It's bad.
Really?
Yeah. It's doable, but I'm wearing a mask outside.
All right.
Is that what everyone's doing?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's very cute. But here's the thing. What you're doing when you wear a mask is you're just giving yourself your own CO2. Mm-hmm. And so that's just going to poison you from within. We learned a lot during COVID, Jen. And
it's a muzzle.
COVID, it's a chin. I call it a chin diaper.
Yeah. I actually don't think the fires even happened, personally.
I actually think that the fire was made in a lab.
Yeah, in China?
Lab leak.
Yeah. Okay, so
hi. So how can we help you?
So I have feelings for my best friend.
A classic.
And I don't know if I should tell him. And we've been friends a really long time.
It's a man?
Yeah.
Both straight?
Yeah.
Great question.
Does he have a girlfriend?
No, he's single. We're both very single.
How long have you guys been best friends? And would he consider you his best friend?
Yeah, I'm definitely more of his best friend than he is. He calls me like 4 or 5 times a day.
Oh, he's thirsty for you emotionally, but you're thirsty for him romantically.
Correct.
And you're afraid. This is a classic, by the way. I mean, this is one of the true classics. Where you're afraid that if you reveal your feelings for him, it will somehow ruin or affect your friendship.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't want to lose him as a friend. We've been friends like 6 years.
If you texted him right now and said, I had a huge crush on you, what do you think his reaction would be, just out of curiosity?
I feel like he'd want to talk. And I just don't know if he'd be into it or not. Cause he's always talking about other girls and like all the girls he has crushes on. And like, he thinks some of my friends are hot.
What if you texted him and he said he wanted to talk and you texted back, I'm only willing to engage with you via text and actually WhatsApp specific. Natasha, you have any thoughts on this one?
This is hard. I mean, I guess part of me is like, have you ever even come close to doing anything together physically?
Like sometimes he like grabs my thigh.
I do that to just like women in general, just like out in public and stuff.
Yeah.
Men do kind of be dumb.
For me, you have to be my best friend.
No, that is interesting. You know what? Like when you guys are laughing or something, or what?
No, like, or like we're in the car and like we joke about like we do this thing where we're like, oh, are we gonna kiss right now? Like it's kind of a bit. Like we're always like, oh my God, like stop. Like we always joke about being romantically involved. And I think the bit has gone too far where I've like caught feelings.
Huh.
I'm of the opinion.
No, he's flirting with her.
Yeah.
What do you mean he's flirting with her?
Well, because he's
That's
kind
what
of
she
leading
wants.
her on. I know that he's not like making the move, and he's kind of putting her in the friend zone. And he's what my friend Ricky Lindholm was calling shirting you, which is like, can I get some advice from you? If you went to a job interview, what shirt would you wear? Would you wear this one?
Oh, that's
it's
funny.
basically what a wife would help with, but like, then he's still a player. I have no idea if this is who this guy is, but that is a thing that men do where they still need the emotional support of someone to help them out with their daily life, because most of them are like borderline autistic.
Natasha.
True. Real Natasha. That's real.
That's half the people on Earth.
Borderline, she said. Borderline.
Okay, I've got a HT.
The
What?
hot tub?
Hot take. Here's my hot take. You're afraid of losing your best friend by revealing your secrets, but he's not your best friend. He's already a person for whom the friendship has been ruined because you don't have romantic feelings for your best friend. You have romantic feelings for a person you have romantic feelings for. It's already past the point. It's too late. You're not going to unfeel it. You're feeling it. So therefore, you're trying to salvage a thing that's already been affected by the feelings that you're feeling. Therefore, there's nothing to lose. You tell him your feelings, he doesn't reciprocate them, you deal with the emotional fallout of that, or you don't tell him your feelings, you continue as you're going, and you deal with the emotional fallout from that, and it's going to affect your relationship. So by telling him, at least you're being honest, at least you're saying to him, listen, I have these feelings, do you reciprocate them? Who knows? It could result in one of the great loves of your life. Or it could result in this relationship changing in a way that you don't like. But regardless, the relationship's already changed. You're no longer in the zone of best friend. You're now in the zone of person I'm pining for. So I say, tell him.
How does she tell him?
She tells him. I mean, this is very.
You guys drink? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
have a couple drinks and like touch his thigh for once. I don't know.
I think that is the least responsible way to do it.
Really?
Is to try to force a physical connection.
Okay.
I think.
You can talk about it.
Well, because here's what, I mean, I'm sure you've had this experience, Andrew, where you're like friends with someone and then one night something happens and you're like, all of a sudden you fucked your friend. And now you're like, I don't know what even to do with this. Now it's really weird. And a conversation where the person said, listen, I have feelings for you. And you were like, I just don't know if I feel that way.
Right.
Is less weird than waking up next to them and going, by the way, honey, last night was great, but I don't have feelings for you like that.
Right.
I say you talk about it in a way that's awkward and weird. I don't think forcing physical.
I don't know. I don't know if this is the place to do it, but I have probably the craziest possible friend who had a crush on me story of all time.
This is
definitely
okay
to
to share.
share. This is not with you, but it's completely
Tell us,
crazy.
we'll see where.
Okay, I don't know. This isn't going to give you any advice, but when I was in college, I had a friend who, like, we were friends. We would hang out a lot. We were in a class together. We lived near each other, and I had a girlfriend at the time. And this girl, at a certain point, my friend said, "Hey, let's drop the act. We clearly both really like each other. Let's be together. Come on. We both know this is more than a friendship." I didn't feel the same way. And I was like, hey, like, I'm sorry if I gave you that impression. I feel really, I had a girlfriend. I was like, my girlfriend, we've all hung out.
That's where it's a little clear.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like,
Her nickname for your girlfriend was the act.
right, exactly. Yeah, and I'm just like, look, I'm sorry. I don't feel the same way. Like, I'm sorry if I led you on and made you think I did. Like, I just view you as a friend, whatever. It was a little bit awkward, but whatever. We're like, 19 years old in college. It happens. I basically didn't think, we became like less good of friends after that. It obviously changed the dynamic, as you're afraid of. And then I didn't really think about her a couple years later. I'm out of college. And it had been like 3 years since that whole thing happened. I was starting to do comedy at the time. And I Googled my name because I had created a website for my comedy. And one of the first things that shows up on Google, I have a very unique last name, is a hit on weddings.com. And I'm like, why would my full name be on weddings.com? I click it. It is and now wedding announcement and wedding registry for my wedding to this girl.
No, yes,
Yes, the girl who had a crush on me 3 or 4 years earlier. It sounded beautiful. It was a fall wedding. At this point, I had already missed it by a year.
Oh, you already married?
Well, I missed the wedding. I had already married.
The
wedding happened. It was at Aspen. It was at the Aspen Art Museum. It sounded really beautiful.
Nice.
Oh, believe me, I wish I could have gone. The rooms are changing. And it was basically like reading fan fiction about my life. It started out with like true facts about how we met, and it was like for years it was a will they won't they relationship between Andrew and I'm not going to say her name, and all this crazy stuff. And then
was she just like crazy?
I don't know. I was like, I understand like maybe writing that, but like putting it on the internet, I'm like, what was her goal?
Hold on. You understand maybe writing that?
I don't know if you have some fantasy about someone you're writing.
Saying, like in your journal.
Yeah, in your journal, but like to put it online, I'm like, does she think I'm gonna read this and be like, oh my God, my prayers have been answered? And it was like all this weird stuff. It was like, so-and-so was moving to Los Angeles, her name was moving to Los Angeles to write for TV, and Andrew was headed to Boston to be a teacher. It's like, what?
Oh, that's cool. The fanfic starts to like spin off.
It was a spin-off. Yes.
Her ideas of what you might have done.
Yes.
She wanted you to do.
Yes, exactly.
That's so fun.
And I just felt really bad for her, honestly, because I was like, there's clearly something wrong with this person's, that she thinks that this is an appropriate thing to put on the internet. And I didn't want to like confront her about it because it had been like a year or two since shit got posted. And I was like, I don't know, maybe she moved on. I just feel like uncomfortable. So I just like wrote to weddings.com and I was like, hey, this is like a really weird request, but like, I'm not romantically engaged with this person. I have a last name that's kind of unique. Can you please like remove this from your website? It makes me very uncomfortable. And they were like, oh yeah, we've never gotten that before. Like, sorry. And this is like 2010. This is a long time ago. And then they were like, okay, we contacted Google. They're going to remove it from their searches or whatever. Anyway, that's pretty much the story. But I have saved as screenshots all the whole fan fiction and stuff. I ran into her once on the streets in Los Angeles and just said hi. And that was it.
What, did she look longingly?
She had a boyfriend who kind of looked like me. Hey, next time.
Nice. See everything
Well,
worked
listen,
out.
this is not going to happen.
So, I'm so sorry.
I know, like, I feel like I don't want to become crazy. Like, is this a cautionary tale?
That is fascinating. Wait, I have a question. Has he ever had a girlfriend when you guys have been dating, or when you guys have been? And how
I've had a boyfriend while we've been friends.
And how did that feel? How did that work? Was there tension? Was there anything odd?
There was tension, and we actually both had to talk to our respective partners about it because both of our partners were a little like, hey, you guys talk all the time, because we really do, like, we emotionally come to each other instead of our partners. So like I would call him first instead of my partner at the time. So it actually became an issue.
Yeah, I think you have to just give this a shot.
Yeah, you gotta say something.
Yeah.
And maybe you can even say that. You can say, listen, I've been thinking about our friendship, and sometimes when I think about you, it feels like a little bit more than that, like emotionally. And then give that example that you just said, like when we were talking to each other before our partners. And, now that we're both single, sometimes, I find myself thinking about you, and, I don't want to be off base, but you can write this down. I just want to, I'm curious, like where you stand on it.
Yeah.
And then he'll give you what and you might be like, oh. Like, okay, but.
And if he
I think
does,
I'm just, like, scared. He's a bit of a player, he's like a Silver Lake film bro. So it's like, I'm just a little bit like, he dates around, and like, I'm just kind of like, I'm struggling with like if he finds me attractive or not. So I think I'm just scared, but all the facts are there. So
what I was going to ask is, do you feel like you're both looking for the same thing right now romantically, whether that's a partner or whatever?
I think so. Like, I think we're both looking for a partner.
Because the player thing has me a little concerned
I'm
on
not
that.
loving that. And
Yeah,
listen,
I don't like that.
I would tell you straight up, odds are stronger that, in my opinion, that you're going to get a, God, I love you so much as a friend, but I don't think of you like that. Then, oh my God, I've been feeling those same things too. It's not 80-20. It's probably 70-30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just so you know it. How old are you? You're pretty young, yes?
I'm 31.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty young.
I think
Are you 31?
No, I'm
I think knowing boys and player,
yeah,
you're likely to get you're so important to me, but I don't feel the same way.
To me, the player thing makes me think that he does kind of thinks that you're cool and has a crush on you, but he's like,
Right.
my relationship with women is that I use them. And I don't want to live with someone I care about. To me, that's where I think he's coming
And
from.
then the second thing that you're gonna really hate is if this is all true, which I saw you snapping, girl, I know you think it's all true, is that you're gonna have to withdraw. So you're gonna have to take something away from him. Sorry.
Which is what?
The 5 calls a day, you're right.
It's like you can't, and I don't know if you need to tell him that, but if he's like, no, we're just friends, you say, okay, I understand, and
Yeah,
I
you
don't
pull back.
Yeah, you gotta pull back, and you can even tell him, it's just best for me to like.
And you'll figure all that out. But here's what I'm really thinking. Okay, let's say it's 70-30. Let's say you don't get what you want. Let's say the relationship is affected. Let's say that your relationship diminishes. The reality is I really believe this. He's either going to reciprocate your feelings and you guys will have a great love affair, or he won't. You'll stay friends in this way. You'll pine for him. He'll eventually find the woman for whom he does feel that way. And then guess what? Your relationship is going to diminish.
Right.
No, he's still gonna be calling you about his like,
I don't think so.
freaking
Yeah.
Eventually
You're
he'll go,
pants.
I don't know, it would be funny if he's like a married father of 4. Sure. So the reality is,
Guys don't want to get married at 31 either.
they do. They do.
Not in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
The
true.
point is, it's already there. You have to find out the truth. It's like getting test results back. Knowledge is power. You need to know if he feels the same way, and you need to risk. All love takes courage and risk.
Aren't there like 2 movies from the early 2000s that came out the same year that have this exact plot?
Oh yeah.
I think so. Like Friends with Benefits is one of them, maybe, and then the other they have
No Strings Attached.
I know they're the exact same plot. Go watch both of those.
With him.
With him, and then turn to him and go, "That's me. It me."
You know what? You deserve to not be used by him.
Yeah.
Stop using her.
Well, he is though, because he's
No,
taking
no,
away
no.
her sparkle because
No.
she's giving it all to him, and he only wants it
No.
as a
No.
friend when she could be giving it to like.
He's not using her. They're friends.
I think he's afraid of using you. I think if he felt like if it
Exactly.
became sexual, he would get bored of you or whatever. If he's a player, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think
Did
that's
he
true.
get a little jealous when you had a boyfriend?
Yes and no. Like he was very good about it. He'd be like, "Oh, are you with him?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, like, But it felt a little bit like we were having an affair by talking to each other. Like it was.
You broke up with your boyfriend when that breakup happened. What was his reaction?
He was there for me. Like I called him immediately.
I'm not getting the vibe that he's pining for you, but I don't know him. And I still think if you find a way to do it casually and not be like, I love you and I've always loved you, and just say what Natasha said, look, I'm starting to have these like weird feelings that feel like more than just friendship for you. Do you feel that way about me? And I maybe it will be awkward. Don't say nothing will change because you don't know that. Maybe it will be awkward, but then you'll have the information you need to be able to move forward. I mean, there's nothing worse than being in a love affair with somebody that's not interested in you. I mean,
Yeah.
There is literally nothing worse. No, there are worse things.
But that's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. And if he rejects you, just marry him in your mind.
Yeah, go to weddings.com.
Weddings.com.
All right, well, good luck. And I know it's hard to kind of jump in there, but the thing is, you can kind of crush on anyone.
Yeah.
It's just
It's silver like film, bro. Just walk out the door and throw a rock.
if it doesn't work out, you're gonna like find someone else who you're gonna have a crush on.
Yeah.
It'll just happen. So
Take a risk. All love is risk anyway.
All right, I'm gonna tell him, guys. Wish me luck.
Fill us in. We want to know what happens. Get in touch.
What do you want to tell him? You're going to text him? What are you going to do? We just want to know.
Oh yeah,
I
what
think I'm gonna send him a text, which is so wimpy, but
I don't know. It's like, hey, can we talk about, like, what are you going to say?
I think I might just be like, hey, like, check in and be like, actually, no, I might call him.
Yes, call
Okay.
him, definitely.
All right.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Send him a snap.
Yeah, you guys are 31. Send them a
Yeah,
snap.
send him a snap.
Okay, first of all, I don't have Snapchat. Like,
Just Venmo request them and in the description, like, write some stuff there.
For ongoing romantic relationship.
if the episode comes out, and then listen to it first and write down exactly what I said, and then call him and just read it verbatim.
perfect. Love that.
Good luck out there.
Okay, bye.
All right, stay safe. Bye.
Wow, I hope Jen connects with that boy, you know? I feel like it's good because he's a film bro.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to show him No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits, which are kind of like two film bro classics.
And he'll finally get it.
Yeah, he'll finally get it.
But maybe he shows her Bill Bellamy's How to Be a Player. And like, this is the life I'm leading.
That sounds like a good movie.
I feel bad. I mean,
have you ever had like unrequited love with a friend?
in both directions.
Yeah.
In both directions. I mean, there was a girl that I didn't know if I was dating for like years.
Huh? What?
like we were friends, and it was like we had hooked up once.
You shouldn't admit that, Moshe.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I was getting my dick wet the whole time with other people.
Sure.
But I would.
So you had a crush.
Yeah, well, it was something where we had hooked up once years earlier, and then she'd moved to LA, and we kept going out till we'd go to a movie, and it'd be like, I don't understand what we are. Are we buddies or are we approaching it? And finally, it just sort of.
Fizzled.
Maybe this isn't that interesting of a story, but I feel like everybody's had this situation.
Yeah, on both sides. Yeah.
What about you, Taj?
I hate to admit, but no, I've never been in unrequited love.
You've only had requited love? You've never had a crush on someone that didn't like you back?
No, I had a huge crush on Ricky Busker when I was in 6th grade.
Ricky.
But the only reason I couldn't get guys when I was young, that's true. I had a lot of unrequited love because I look like a kid.
Oh, you were.
I was a very late bloomer.
You were youthful.
Yeah.
You've been youthful your whole life, and
that's
back then
why
it
I
wasn't
look so
great.
young now.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank God
20
for that.
years behind.
Yeah.
When did your thumping ass first come into full repose?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Actually,
yeah,
you know
please.
what?
I'm so sorry. Go ahead,
I
Andrew.
remember being in 8th grade,
Yeah.
watching Gilligan's Island after school with my mashed potatoes. That's what I used to do. I used to come home, make myself mashed potatoes, and watch Gilligan's Island.
Okay.
That is so cute.
And then I remember my mom, when she would come home, she'd be like, "Cover up your butt."
Just at Home Alone?
Well, or I don't know, like maybe like my people were around, but like
The skipper is watching.
No, but I just remember like I had never thought of my butt as something to like hide or cover up, but maybe it did look. I probably was used to walking, going around in my
8th grade.
underwear.
That's crazy, honey. You have a mashed potato booty. Without mashed potatoes, you would have a flat ass.
Yeah.
Thank you, mashed potatoes.
Wait, you're saying the mashed potatoes is what?
I think so.
And maybe the sedentary lifestyle watching Gilligan's Island
Totally.
just kind of moved the potatoes. Yeah, I don't know.
But I do
I wanna
remember
t- I'm
I was watching on my like elbows though, so my butt would be like.
Oh,
That was part
that
of
sounds
it.
nice.
Yeah.
You 8th grade, underage and stuff. Dude, honestly, when I see that thing of yours, I want to take that shit on a 3-hour tour. That's a Gilligan.
Is that a Gilligan's
joke.
Island reference?
Get out of here, you millennial
Sorry.
motherfucker. You don't even get it, brother.
Sorry.
You don't know that reference?
Okay.
3-hour
okay.
tour? No, I don't.
A 3-hour tour.
He's under 40.
Yeah, I'm under 40.
Gilligan and the skipper were
Okay.
going on a 3-hour
A
tour.
Oh, that's what started the whole thing.
3-hour tour.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they got lost, and they spent years on an island.
I can't believe you haven't watched sitcoms from the 1960s.
No, I have seen Gilligan's Island, but I just don't know that
It's weird that
reference.
we've seen it. Basically, when we were in the 80s, there was Nick at Night.
Right.
Yeah,
Nick
I know. I
at
remember
Night.
that.
Dude,
That was a
when
big
you-
thing when I was a kid.
It made me so mad that you didn't know that reference. I wanted to give you one bang right in the kisser.
Okay, that I go.
Did you like
That I
watch
know.
You get that
Friends
one?
when you were?
I know.
growing
I
up?
wasn't with Friends. I was a Seinfeld kid more.
What is the deal with your lack of knowledge of Nick at Night classics?
Okay, all right. Listen, boys, you guys save it for your.
Save it for what?
the
Save it for the
surfing
podcast.
For
session.
surfing.
Oh, for
Yeah,
surfing.
for
Save it
surfing.
for
We'll keep the
surfing.
good stuff
No
for
more
us surfing.
bickering. Let's listen to some secrets.
Deal.
Great.
Hi. Okay, so I am a male, and I unfortunately have a thing like most gay males do for straight, closeted, download DL, whatever guys. And I have recently been hooking up with a bunch of them through asking them to like come jerk off together, just like, who cares? Like, let's just like watch some porn and jerk off. But then they like make a move and it goes further. So I'm like, is this a hack? Do you just tell a guy like, hey, just come on over if you're horny? And yeah, I mean, it's been like 4 to 5 consecutive like first timers, quote unquote. I don't know if they're lying to me, most likely, probably, but you can tell that they're straight for the most part. It's really hot. Thanks. Love you guys. Bye.
He's like, is it a hack as a man to have ulterior motives? It's like, no, I think that's a classic. It's kind of a classic.
I focused on that phrase too. And I wonder if it's here's a crazy hack for the gay men out there. If you want to hook up with somebody, invite them over to your house to jerk off together, and they'll probably feel sexual. It's like, how low are men?
Wait, so he's inviting these guys on an app to say, do you want to come jerk off with me?
I think it's like guys who are like straight, who are like, let's just jerk off. It'll be fun. But then in
They're
reality, they're
straight?
closeted. Well, they're quote
they
unquote
want-
straight.
I mean, that's the thing.
Have you ever jerked off with a friend?
He's going to go find a friend, I think.
Oh, wait, I just saw how your pants are roped up. Yes, you have.
Have I ever jerked off with a friend? That's a great question, Natasha. And do we have another secret on deck? I have. Yeah, I have.
Oh.
I have. To be honest with you, when I was young.
How old were you?
42. Younger. No,
Was
when
this
I
like
was,
your Gilligan's Island era?
when I was a teen, that we like one of our gay friends did invite us over to watch porn at his house. And we
So
all,
this hack was almost used
but
on
I didn't
you.
make a
You
move on.
didn't
I
go
didn't
further.
make a move on him, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Wait, who
You know what
made
I'm
the
saying?
move?
Yeah.
In
That's
this
not
call,
my style.
is the caller making the moves?
It sounded like the guys were.
I think the guys were. I
that's
think
the
it's
thing.
like it is kind of a hack in a way where he's like, "Oh, this is all I want," and then more comes your way.
I guess, but it also like it seems like his fantasy of like turning these men is
Right.
allowing him to ignore the information where they're like, "I'd like to come over to your house and jerk off together." Clearly, they're there to hook up with you. They're not like.
Why does he think they're straight?
Well, he likes to chase straight men, and
Yeah.
and they.
Is this some sort of app of like? Is it just
I don't
Grindr
know.
or something else? I don't know.
Yeah, right. It's like so fun. It's like I'm meeting all these straight dudes on Grindr, and it's crazy because they end up hooking up with me.
But hey, good for him in a way.
Should we ask the ultimate dangling question? Have you ever jerked off with a friend?
No, I haven't. Sorry.
All right, let's take another
Yeah,
secret.
sorry.
I mean, I haven't either.
Yeah.
That would no. I'm a podcaster. I do stuff for comedic effect.
Yeah, I don't
Wait,
know.
but yours was with some older guy when you were a kid? That barely counts. It's like,
He was older. He was like 50. He was 50.
No.
And we were me and my friends. He was. I guess technically he was like the Boy Scout leader,
the priest,
the
right?
priest,
Yeah,
Boy
we'll
Scout
call it-
leader,
yeah, a
priest,
priest
Boy Scout leader. Yep.
Christian
No,
Boy Scout.
you know, I was like in AA, and we were like probably 17, 18, and like he was maybe 25, and you know whatever. I mean,
Was it a group or just?
there was 3 of us.
Did you guys? Where'd
Where'd we come?
Yeah.
On the cracker.
I was curious.
It was a white guy in the
cookie
middle.
on a cookie or
it was
something?
called "Come on the Cracker." We
Come
all
on the
came on this white guy,
Cracker. Cool.
straight white man, to like show him his privilege. You
Okay.
know, take him down a peg.
yeah,
No,
wait. I mean, now that you've opened up
Yeah.
this Pandora's
What happened
box,
after too? Was that like the end of the hang? Did you just head home? like what's the
Well, I
process?
listen. It was.
I feel like you've given Andrew some ideas now.
Yeah, I got the next week planned.
He would. But I mean, I'll be honest. I don't care. I mean, I'm not ashamed of it. He played some gay porn.
Okay.
And the 3 of us sat in a circle. I guess it was a circle jerk, but nobody
Okay.
touched anybody.
Right,
We
but
just
wasn't
all did our own thing.
Classic 90s circle jerk.
But by the way, do you want to know something weird about gay porn? At least at this time.
Sure.
Have you? I mean, I don't know if you've watched it. Or
I've
not.
seen it.
Did he
on.
tell you it was going to be gay porn when you boys came over?
I mean, he was jerking off. It's not like we'd be like, "Ew, that's gay, dude." We want you to jerk off to women. It
So the
was-
two of you were straight and he was gay.
Exactly.
Okay.
and he was like, "Hey kids, you want to come back to my
we were
place?"
kids. We were not kids.
Hey guys,
He was like a local.
when you're done with your senior year,
Hey, younger peers.
He was like a local, like professional recycler. He would like go to everybody's garbage cans and take the cans and stuff
Okay,
out. And then
cool.
we were walking by one
gotta
time. He's like,
hustle.
jump. Yeah, he's like, jump into my cart. I'll take you back to my overpass where I live. And
My layer.
but what was true about gay porn at the time is very weird. Is that they would do the cum shots multiple times. So the guy would be like, and he would come, and then they would like, and they would do like a different angle, and he would come
Whoa.
again. It was like 3 comes.
Huh.
And that and
Which is
actually,
the name of your group, right? That was your little crew called 3 Comes.
wait, and then did one of you come first? What happens if one of you comes really fast?
Right.
one of us did come first.
Was it you?
It was not me. No, because I couldn't get
very
aroused.
funny-
I couldn't get aroused with all that gay shit going on around me. You know what I mean?
Maybe the funniest thing to be proud of as a man, as a straight man. Yeah, when I jerked off with my 2 friends when I was
No,
16.
dude, it is.
I didn't come
That's
first
how
at all.
straight I am.
Moshe,
Is it-
I
no,
think
I
it's-
am so straight. It took me a few minutes longer to
minutes
come to the
longer.
gay porn and other men jerking off around me.
That's cool.
I think it's very cute that you're admitting this.
Yeah.
Why would I not? I'm not ashamed of it.
And it clearly didn't, you never did it again.
I did not do it again.
Okay. Okay.
So you weren't
Yeah, you're
obviously that
experimenting.
into it.
I
Because
don't know.
maybe there would have been an element of looking at everyone's wieners.
Wieners.
Wee-wees.
Yeah. Wieners. Yeah.
That could have unlocked something.
Oh, yeah, that unlocked the thing.
Yeah, it could have unlocked something.
I mean, listen, when you're a teenage boy, you're so horny, you don't have a sexual orientation. Or I was anyway. I was just like, ugh, sex, anything. I mean, I just like, so I'm lucky that I experienced that. I think it's cool.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm a member of the queer community.
Wait, you are.
I'd love for you to start using that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, listen, I think we have time for one more secret.
Okay, let's do another.
Hi, Natasha and Moshe. My secret,
Andrew.
and just to preface this, I do not engage in behaviors like this anymore. This happened about 15 years ago, and I've since mended my ways. But so, about 15 years ago, I was working at this work camp in another country, and I met a guy there, and we started hooking up. And then, like a month before the camp was scheduled to end, and our contracts were scheduled to end, I found out that he was married, and I kept hooking up with him because, again, that was something I did in those days. And after we were done with camp, he actually lived in that country, and he was like, hey, you should come visit. It's a really pretty area. So I totally went and lived in his house with him and his wife and his child for about a week. We did not hook up anymore when I was in his home, but I still, lived in the same space as his wife. I did receive some instant karma. I had bought a car to travel around the country with, and the day that I left their house, I totaled the car and could not use it for my trip. So that's my secret. Thanks for everything.
How did she end up living with?
She had an
He just
affair.
invited. He was like,
She
you
had
want to
an
come
affair.
visit my house?
And then a few years later, he's like, come to Milan.
No, I think it was that same trip right after the...
It was the same time?
I think it was at the same time. I think it was at the end of her stay.
Oh,
Maybe I misheard it. Either way, a little bit awkward.
Definitely.
Nice of him, though. He's kind of a generous guy, you know? Kind of
Yeah, very nice of him.
Gives her a little bit of satisfaction and then lets her stay at his house.
It's so sad that they expect men to be faithful.
Thank
Right.
you. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
You're a
you.
Thank
faithful
you.
type. That's why I married you.
Yeah, you just
I
need to be the
men-
type. You just need to be the type. Doesn't mean you need to be faithful. That's perfect.
Most men.
Yeah.
As long as you're the
That's
faithful
what I say-
type.
What I say when she catches me in bed with another woman. Listen, I'm the faithful
Faithful
type.
type,
In this
This is an
particular
aberration. What can I say?
Thank
Yeah.
you, though, honey, for your compassion. That's what I'm talking about. What I was talking about with California. Just because you don't understand someone doesn't mean you can't empathize with them. And so just because you don't understand my need to relentlessly chase hookups.
And then let them stay at your house for a
let
week.
them stay at our house for months at a time with our child in the room next door doesn't mean you can't empathize with me.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
All right. Well, I'll work on that.
Thanks, hon. What do you think of this? Have you ever hooked up with a married guy?
No, I haven't.
No?
No, I've.
You ever jerked off with a married guy?
Have you ever had a circle jerk with a married
No,
guy?
have you
Mosh?
ever hooked up with a married woman? Yeah, that's a yeah. Hey, how about this? I won't leave you in the dark. Yes, for me as well.
You have.
Yeah, once. Yeah, I regret it.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I
You
regret
know what
it
happened
too.
to me?
Yeah.
You know what happened to me that was kind of cool?
Yeah.
I found out that the person had a girlfriend after.
And then you broke it off?
Yeah.
You're very moral
That's good.
and ethical.
That's great.
Thank you.
You're
Extremely
really great.
moral and
Thank
ethical.
you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've had quite an episode.
It's been great.
Andrew, how can people find you?
Well, my name is Andrew Michaan, Michaan. I'm on social media. Well, Instagram is the only thing that matters anymore, really. But
What about your amazing podcast?
my podcast is called Podcast But Outside. We interview strangers on the street. It's truly, really fun and interesting. Even if you hate me, you might like my podcast.
No one will hate you.
Because it's not
You're
about...
so affable. Who could hate you?
But I'm just saying it's not about me. It's about the people I interview. We set up on the streets all over the world, interview strangers. Moshe's done 3 episodes. Natasha did 1 live episode. We're going to get her on the street sometime soon. As
She's
soon
in
as
the
she wants
queue,
to.
right?
She's in the queue. As soon as she wants to accept the invitation, she's invited.
Where did you shoot your last episode?
Last episode, which when this comes out, will have just come out a few days ago. We shot in Tokyo, Japan.
Oh, that's
which
cool.
is awesome. It was so fun.
was there like a language barrier? Or?
I had a friend with me who's a fellow comedian who has lived there for 25 years. It's so crazy. He moved there when he was like 20 years old to teach English for a year. He's lived there now 25 years. He has
Whoa.
a Japanese wife, a
Whoa.
half Japanese kid. Like it's really kind of his whole
That's
life is
awesome.
What's
so
cool
interesting.
about it is that you're not even mentioning his name. And I'm
No,
sure he'd
no,
like to
no.
get out there as a comedian, but you're withholding that.
His name is Vinay Murthy, very funny, nice guy. But anyway, he translated, so we talked to
cool.
like some Japanese folks, and we also talked to some visiting brothers from Kuwait who were really funny, who claimed that the best Japanese food they've ever had was in Kuwait, which is kind of that's a little plug for Kuwait right there. But yeah, our podcast is really fun, interviewing strangers on the street. We've done it all over the world, have lots of great guests,
That's
and
cool.
you guys have both been on it.
It's a great show. It's really, really fun.
We've been on hiatus, and we just relaunched, so please check it out on YouTube or podcast apps or social media if you want to watch 1-minute clips.
Yeah, check out Podcast But Outside.
Thank
Follow
you.
Andrew on all forums, social.
Thank you.
Natasha and I, of course, will be coming to a city near you, so go to our websites
Got some live
respectively.
dates for the pod coming up,
Got some live dates coming up, and if you go to finally, we leave you with this. More important than following Andrew, which is not important at all. More important than seeing us live is go to the episode description here right now. Click on one of these links, get involved, give if you can, volunteer if you can, and just remember all the people that are suffering in the world. May they all experience less suffering in the future.
And if you could possibly do some like internet satellite sleuthing and find out that someone on a GoFundMe's house is actually standing, donate $10K now while the GoFundMe is up, so that when they find out that his house is still standing, you get it back.
What if it's an unethical person who's just like, I'm keeping the money, and then your stupid financial advice backfires? Crazy.
It's okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I love you both.
Oh, we love
Wow,
you too.
I love you too.
Oh, I love to get. I never know that.
I
That's
never
cool.
know that.
I
I never know that.
I never
You
know
never
that.
know that. I never know that.
I never know that.
All right. Well,
Thanks, guys.
there's 3 of us here. There's a computer in front of us. What I think perhaps we should do
Oh yeah.
is a little game of Come on the Crack.
Let's do it.